What's up everyone, it's finally time to do another character tutorial for Tekken 7, and in this video I want to teach you all about how to play Claudio. Now Claudio used to be one of those characters that me and my friends really kind of hated back in the day playing Tekken 7 in the arcades, because he was known for being a very cheap character, and I still think Claudio actually deserves to be known as a cheap character, but for some pretty interesting reasons. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Claudio's moveset, one of the most famous things about him is that he has possibly the most powerful hopkick in Tekken history. It is absolutely ridiculous. The other thing that is very unique about Claudio is that he has this thing known as Starburst. What Starburst is he will hit with one of his moves, and that will allow him to charge up one of his hands with these blue sparks. He can then use that Starburst almost like a token to spend to empower one of his moves and make it very, very good. And some of the Starburst stuff that he has is actually very interesting and very powerful, which I think is good, because usually when we get like a character gimmick like this in Tekken, it ends up maybe not necessarily translating into that much competitive viability. But Starburst is very usable, and the more I think about it, the more I actually like this mechanic. I think it's very unique and it's very cool, and it's much more well integrated in terms of like a charge up mechanic in this game than, you know, Akuma's super bar, for example. I think this is much better. It's there on the screen, and it's a much more visceral and visual, and I really like the idea. I've warmed up to Claudio a little bit as I've learned to play him personally over the last couple of weeks, and I think the character is really cool. He's one of those characters that I have recommended over and over again for you if you're new to Tekken, and I'm going to do that once again in this introduction. He's very easy to use in terms of execution, and I think you're going to get a lot of mileage out of him even if you're kind of new to this game. If you're not, and you're kind of a legacy Tekken player and a little bit more of a veteran, a very unique thing about him that I want to mention before we jump over to the gameplay section of this video is that a very weird thing about Claudio that you have to get used to is in Tekken, when you do an attack animation, most of the time it will actually propel your character forward. You'll actually have to move forward as you do your move because it's just part of the attack animation. And Claudio's hop kick is actually a good example of why he's an exception to this. Claudio likes to remain completely stationary even when he does his move. He will then stick out a very long limb and have great range, but not necessarily move forward during the animation. And that's really interesting because it can make him very difficult to punish and very difficult to chase down, because he's almost pulling away from you as he's attacking, which is very unique. And he actually has some moves that we're going to look at later that allow him to do an attack, and then actually the attack animation will physically back him away from the opponent. This means that he's very good at whiff punishing, and he has that hop kick, which is one of the most like premium whiff punishers ever in Tekken. So that's kind of the way he works. I mean, in terms of strategy, the way you want to play Claudio, the way a round with Claudio usually works out if you're successful, is you will attempt to launch your opponent with your hop kick. That will allow you to use your combo finisher to charge up your Starburst, and you will then attempt to use your Starburst to finish the opponent off and take the round. And so we're going to look a little bit at how that's going to function mechanically in the gameplay section of this video. So I want to jump over and look at that right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay, so let's talk about Claudio. Now the first thing I want to do before we go into specific moves and everything is that I've had a lot of requests on my other videos to just mention some punishment. Now that is something that you can just go and like look up in a list somewhere. It doesn't really warrant a longer explanation or anything, but I think it would be nice if I just mention, you know, some quick starter, like a starter kit for a block punishment with Claudio before we go into any other specifics. So for standing 10 frames, you've got 1, 2. It's just very standard jab string. For 12 frames, you've got forward 2, 2, which is one of those moves I mentioned earlier that will move him backwards when you hit. But good damage and really solid move. And then for 15 frames and anything above, you've got the amazing Claudio hop kick. Now there might be some, you know, very useful block punishment in between 12 and 15 frames that I did not mention. If that's the case, please let us know in the comments. But this is just like to get you started with the Claudio block punishment. This is like what you need. And then for while standing, you've got the 4 for 11. It's a very decent little while standing 4. Gives you 18 frames, 18 points of damage. And then for 12 frames, you've got your 1, 1, which is this very weird animation where he looks away that I don't really like, but this is what he has for 12. And then for 15, you've got your while standing 2, which is not only going to launch your opponent and do good damage, it actually has built-in Starburst, as you can see there. I don't have Starburst, but if I do it now, I do, which means that I can use Starburst in my combo, but that's something we're going to talk about later. Okay, so that's just some starter like block punishment for Claudio. Let's talk about your neutral game and your standard play. Now, the main mid poke that I want to highlight with Claudio, my favorite mid when I play him, is back 3. This is kind of his stand-in for normal down forward 1 with another character. I think every single character I've done a tutorial on so far uses down forward 1 mainly, right? Oh, maybe not Elisa. But whatever, Claudio uses back 3. It's a very good little mid. I mean, you can just tell by the animation that this is going to be a great little move. It comes out at 13 frames, so standard for a fast mid poke. Gives you -4 on block and +7 on hit, which is very good frame data. So this is a fantastic little mid. And it's like your main mid poke and abusing tool up close, and yeah, it's super good. Use it a lot. It's useful in combos and everything as well. And you know, your normal down forward 1 with Claudio is not like a standard like mid poke. It's actually a weird like natural combo launcher like this, a move that I don't personally recommend you use that much. So rely on his back 3 for mids and don't really worry about his down forward 1 for now. The next move I want to talk about is 4-3. 4-3 with Claudio is, you know, like most characters, he has, you know, a counter hit standing 4. This is a little bit unique though, in the sense that it is slightly slower. His 4-3 comes out at 12 frames instead of 11. But it is a very good little move, and it has its own built-in like auto spin like this. So the combo you get off it is not necessarily super high, but what it does have instead is that this mid extension is actually not only a mid but a homing move, which means this string is useful in like a lot of situations, and it's a very decent move to just throw out there. Claudio is at minus, I think, 9. Yeah, he's at -9 after this move, so it's completely safe, and which is obviously super good. So Claudio is at -9 a lot, as you'll find later with all of his moves. He's usually safe, but barely, but that's good enough. It means, you know, that you can you lose your momentum, but you're never punishable, which means that you can just keep abusing moves. And as you saw right there, this move will also give you a wall splat. And let's see, do I remember it? We're going to talk about wall splats later, but I'm just going to confirm that I remember the combo. Is it? Alright. Fine, so that's his 4-3, standing 4-3. I mentioned his, you know, jabs when we talked about a normal block punishment, but you know, you got 1 for your standard jab, and then you've got 1-2 for the extension. This is a very standard jab string in every sense of the term. Just a normal 1-2, and you're going to use it for normal 1-2 reasons, that you want a fast, high poking tool to open up offense. And then, like I said, the mid option is the back 3. What else do I want to talk about here before we go into some lows? Back 2. The only reason I bring up this move here is that, as you can see, this is a move that allows Claudio to get his Starburst, and this is my favorite option for trying to get a Starburst when I don't have one, but I really want one. The normal way to get Starburst is by doing a combo, because a combo will normally end with Claudio's running 2, which will give him Starburst. But if you need Starburst and you're not confident that you're going to be launching your opponent anytime soon, back 2 is a very solid option. As you can see, it does a very nice chunk of 30 damage, knocks your opponent down, and gives you the Starburst. And the frame data for back 2 is, it comes out at 14 frames, which is fast actually, very fast. It is a high, however, and again, you're at -9, that -9 that Claudio is usually at after a lot of his moves. But that -9, I mean, it's good for Claudio, because a lot of these moves, if they were on another character, would actually be punishable. So he just happens to be at -9 and safe on so many really good tools. And this is one of them. Alright, so we talked about back 3, back to 4-3, and jabs. So the next thing you need to know about, this is essentially Claudio's best move. I know he's very famous for his hopkick, but I think he has a move that is even more abusable, even more broken, and even better. It's just a completely insane move, and it's his forward 3. This move, I mean, I've watched some high-level game footage where some like Korean pro players in the purple ranks, so people who are like true virtuosos at Tekken, will play a game at that level and literally use this move like 15 times in a single round. It is that good. So why is this move good? Well, I'll just give you some of the properties. It is a homing spin move that has exceptionally long range, is mid, safe on block, and will crush lows. So I mean, just those properties, that's like everything you could ever wish for in a move. Like, you see, he jumps up in the air, so he's going to go over lows. He has insane range, like from way out here the move's going to hit comfortably. You can use it to spin in combos. Your opponent can never sidestep it because it is a homing move, and even if you keep abusing it, it is completely safe on blocks. Your opponent can never punish you for using this. This move as well, I'm confident will give you a wall splat at the wall, like that. So I mean, there's nothing this move is bad for. I mean, you can just use it whenever you're not at any particular frame disadvantage and you just want to do a move. This is never a bad option. I mean, it's so solid. It's going to outrange so many things. The damage is good. I mean, everything about this move is absolutely amazing. In terms of frame data, it comes out at 18 frames, so it's a little bit slow. It's not like a poking tool per se. It's more like a chunky big mid, but a very, very good one. And again, you're at Claudio's favorite -9 on block, meaning you will lose your momentum for being blocked, but you will be completely safe. So you can do this, then if it gets blocked, your opponent does something, then it's your turn, you do this again, and it's just a very, very solid tool. I mean, they can never duck it, they can never get away, they have to eat it every single time. So yeah, completely busted and amazing move, and you should abuse it and use it as much as you can. As long as you're not, you know, chaining them together because of the -9, which is all I wanted to say there. Another move that I want to mention quickly that is not super important, but that I really like with Claudio is his back one, which is this move. This is another homing move that Claudio has, and it's one of those moves that I mentioned that will move him backwards. This move is really, really great. It comes out at 20 frames, so it's a little bit slow, but it's a chunky mid that's never going to be sidesteppable. It has great range. Again, it will wall splat your opponent, and on block, you guessed it, you're at -9. So, I mean, homing huge mids that wall splat your opponent, like 4-3, 4-3, back one. I mean, it's extremely hard to sidestep Claudio because he has these good moves. It's extremely difficult to duck him because he has these great mids, and yeah, his moveset is just super, super solid overall, albeit not very huge. It's kind of small, the useful move pool that you are working with. So yeah, I mean, you've got your jabs, you got your back three for the mid. If you want to do something slightly bigger, 4-3 is my main tip. You can use your back two to collect your Starburst when you really want it. And that's going to be like most of your neutral game, just standing up close. And it's really, really solid. And then if we're going to tack on some lows, to give you some lows to work with Claudio, the absolute best low that he has, in my opinion, and one of my favorite lows to use in the entire game, it's really, really busted, is sidestep 4, which is this move. So you have to do a sidestep and then anywhere during the sidestep, so very late, like I did right there, or very fast, like I did right there, you'll get your sidestep 4. As you can see, it gives you 20 damage, which is very good damage for a low poke. It is, you know, it has built-in evasiveness because you always do it out of the sidestep. And the frame data on this move actually happens to be really, really good. So let's double check here. Okay, it comes out at 20 frames, which means that it is for the most part going to be completely unseeable. Maybe if you're playing someone good offline, it's going to be seen, but in an online environment, it's difficult to see this move. Obviously, you have to keep in mind that even though they might not react to the actual animation of the low, they can react to the sidestep. They can see the sidestep and think, oh, this low is definitely going to come out, and if it does, then you are liable to get low blocked. But that is another reason why it's very, very good to sidestep and hopkick with Claudio. This is just I'm going to talk about it when we talk about the hopkick in a little bit, but sidestepping into a hopkick with Claudio is very good. It's a good way to get a launch with him, but it's even better because you have this low, and when people see you sidestep, sometimes they will just duck fearing the low, and they will eat the hopkick because the hopkick is a mid. Even though this low sometimes does get blocked, when it does get blocked, it is only -11, which means that the worst thing that you're ever going to eat is a wild standing 4, and in my opinion, that is completely a amazing frame data. I think that's very, very good in terms of frame data. A low that is this chunky and this good would normally be a lot more punishable in my opinion. So yeah, I think the frame data on this move is fantastic. I mean, as you can see, the range on it is great. The homing properties or the tracking on the move is absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at this range. This is just an amazing, amazing, very abusable low. And then the other low that I want to highlight, that's kind of like your more aggressive chunky option, is of course the infamous down back 3, which looks like this. This is a completely insane little counter hit tool that he has. It has very long range. It will hit from like way out here with a great little hitbox, and it will give you a high damage combo on counter hit. This move, however, is a little bit more dangerous when used against proficient opponents because, let's see here, yeah, it comes out at 24 frames, which means that this low is actually seeable by most experienced Tekken players, and you are at minus 17 on block, meaning that most characters in the game are going to launch punish you for using this move. Let's just see if we can show the counter hit properties real quick here. And then what do you do for the combo? Let's see if I remember. Do you do the 1 into this? I think you do the while standing 1. Alright. Okay, we're going to talk about combos later, obviously. I just wanted to make sure that I remember because, as you've probably noticed already, I'm not like a high-level Claudio main or anything. I've just recently studied him, you know, in practice mode, done a couple of matches to bring you guys a tutorial on him. But I actually kind of like him, and I would not be surprised if I end up actually playing him quite a bit in the future. But enough about that. Okay, what moves are we talking about? We've talked about all of this stuff. Okay, so I guess it's time to talk about the hopkick. This is one of the best hopkicks ever in Tekken. It is absolutely amazing. So why is that? Well, hopkicks in Tekken are generally mids that come out at 15 frames and they crush lows. That's the entire thing about hopkicks. For a lot of characters, they are the fastest launcher that the character has access to. That is the case with Claudio as well, meaning that this is going to be your 15 frame block punisher, but it's also going to be your main tool anytime you see, you know, a whiff from your opponent, or you predict a low and you want to jump over the low with the hopkick. But that's something that any hopkick can do. The difference about Claudio's hopkick is, first of all, it has exceptionally good range. The range is really, really crazy. I mean, from like out here, but you know, it has that thing that I told you about in the introduction where it doesn't really move him forward, meaning that he can sort of hang back and do these. And a lot of the time, even if he should whiff, even if he should get blocked, actually, your opponent is not going to be able to properly punish this because of the range, meaning that much like a Shaheen, Claudio can do like a hop kick into a hop kick when his opponent's punish whiffs, and then he's going to get a whiff punish with the second hop kick, meaning he sets up the hop kick with the hop kick, which is obviously a little bit crazy. The other thing that is really, really good about this move, I mean, apart from the fact that, you know, it does more damage than an average hop kick as well, is that, okay, so hop kicks in Tekken, they are made for crushing lows, but because your character will dip down a little bit towards the floor for a few frames of the attack animation, sometimes hop kicks will actually end up crushing highs. It's rare, but it happens, and it's almost like a non-intended mechanic that's allowed to exist on hop kicks in Tekken. Obviously, the high crush window is so small that you can never like reliably, you know, you can't think, oh, my opponent's going to do a high here, he's going to do a jab, so I'm going to high crush it with my hop kick. In those scenarios, you would much rather do some other kind of high crush move or simply duck. You do hop kicks to crush lows. But the difference with Claudio's hop kick is, if you look at his head, it actually dips down for quite a substantial part of the animation, meaning that this hop kick will actually crush highs quite reliably a lot of the time. So when you do this move, not only have you done a mid that is not duckable, a long range move that is difficult to move backwards and away from, you've done a move that is going to beat out your opponent if he does any kind of low and most highs. Meaning that, you know, a normal hop kick you need to place very deliberately, but Claudio's hop kick is a lot of the time simply going to stick just because of the built-in super good properties of the move. And that's one of the things that has given Claudio his reputation for being a little bit of a scrubby character. You can literally play a Claudio player online who might not be very good, and he's just doing the hopkick because he knows that's a great move and he thinks it's fun to do combos. And even though you know he's going to do the hopkick, because you were just doing something random, it doesn't really matter. You were in some kind of place where a hopkick wouldn't normally hit you, but it did because it was Claudio's hopkick, and so they get a launch for free, and that's why it's annoying. But if you're a Claudio player, of course, party all day. It's great. In terms of frame data, let's just double check. Yeah, it comes out at 15, so same as any standard hop kick, but you're at minus 13 on block. So it's a normal hop kick will usually be minus 12. His it is minus 13, so it's slightly worse on block. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think that matters all too much, because the difference between like a 12 and a 13 frame Punisher isn't all that huge. Most characters have like a good 12 frame or a good 13 frame block Punisher, and so you're going to eat like either. It's not like they're going to get access to this huge like launch punish or anything just because you went from 12 to 13. So it's a very small downside to an amazing move that has a lot of upsides. And like I said, Claudio, he likes to whiff punish, so you're doing your backdashing like this and you're looking for that hop kick. You're poking up close, you're doing the sidestep, and you're doing the hop kick. Sidestep hop kick is great. When you predict a low, the hop kick is great. After a backdash, the hop kick is great. Sometimes when you want to crush a high, the hop kick is great. And obviously, anytime you want to block something that is minus 15 or more, the hop kick is great. So in conclusion, the hop kick is great. And you should use it a lot. But, be aware, minus 13, you are going to get block punished by good players if you use this and get it blocked. So you cannot abuse it, but it is, in terms of a hop kick and a punishable move, it is about as abusable as it gets, and it is absolutely amazing. So, now that we've talked a little bit about all that, I just want to talk a little bit about Claudio's spaced out game, because this is another area where he's good, and I think anybody at this point is very familiar with this move. This is Claudio's infamous running 2. Which is a fantastic move in every single way. Obviously, like I've talked about in so many videos up until this point, train yourself to do instant while running too, because instant while running with Claudio is very important. You don't want to do a normal while running 2 from way out here, because this move is a high and it's going to get ducked. But if you just look at this move, if I try and do it like quickly here, it comes out very fast, it covers a lot of ground, it has great range, and it blows your opponent up for a lot of damage, gives you the knockdown, gives you the wall splat, 40 damage, it's ridiculous, and perhaps even more importantly, will give you the Starburst. This is one of those moves that will give you Starburst on hit. So, it's a great move to use, and the only reason to be careful is if your opponent is going to get used to it or predict it, they're going to get comfortable to start ducking this move, and when it gets ducked, you get launched. So, get it out as fast as possible. Now, the reason this move is abusable, even though it is a high, is that you have some mix-up options. Obviously, one thing you can do is just run up at your opponent like this, and they get scared and you just hop kick, because the hop kick is fast enough and has enough range that they're not going to be able to adjust. This is something that you see Claudio players do a lot. They like run at you and do running 2, and then they run at you and do running 2, and then they run at you again and think, oh, he's going to start ducking us, I'm just going to run up and hop kick. And as you can see, that's fast enough, and the hop kick is long range enough that that's going to work a lot of the time. But a slightly better option, in my opinion, that I recommend you use for mixing up your running 2, because you have a safe option here, is 444, which is this knee. As you can see, very long range, very solid, good mid option. Again, another wall splat move. He has a wealth of good wall splat moves. But you can use this from out here, and it's going to look like maybe you want to come in with a running 2, but you're actually doing this mid, meaning if your opponent ducks, you get the hit. Should they block it, however, let's see, you're at minus, how much was it? I didn't write that down. It's completely safe. I think it's -4, so I'm going to say -4 for now. Should we take the frame data out and double check? Don't want to give you bad information. 444 -5. Alright, so you're at -5, meaning that you're completely safe using this move. So a great option when you want to mix up your running 2 from a range. So your spaced out kid is really good. Your close-up kit is very good, but most of your really strong moves exist in this range that is somewhere like in between, like where you can use forward 3, you can use back 1 and amazing moves like, you know, 4-3 that are going to outrange a lot of your opponent's options. Down back 3, you know, great long range option. So somewhere in like range 1 to range 2 is where Claudio lives, even though he definitely can scrap at range 0, and he definitely can, you know, play a spaced out, you know, completely spaced out with punishing / keep out game. And obviously, you know, long range options, sidestep 4, absolutely amazing. Alright, so now that we've talked about all of the options that I think are important for Claudio's sort of neutral game, I want to talk a little bit about Starburst, which is this stance / charge up thing you get when he has a blue hand. You get Starburst from doing a couple of different moves, but the main ones that you're gonna like collect Starburst from are the running 2, and in my case I really like to use the back 2. I think the 4-2-2 block punisher also gives you Starburst, meaning that you can get a Starburst, you can collect the free Starburst every single time you block something that is 12 frames or more. You can use the 4-2-2 and you can also get Starburst. Now, what should you use Starburst on? This is important, and it's a fun and very strong concept with Claudio. So, the option I will recommend that you try and spend Starburst on anytime you can is forward 1+2, 1+2, which is a move that looks like this. This move is absolutely crazy. It is an extremely high-powered mid launcher that is safe on block, and this is something that normally would never exist in Tekken. You can have like a launcher that is this powerful and mid and safe on block. I mean, unless you're like Brian and you have his orbital and stuff, but normally it's not really allowed. But with Claudio, it comes with the caveat that you have to have Starburst first, which isn't that much of a caveat because you get Starburst really quite easily. But so what happens is you do this very long range good mid string, you run up and do the forward 3, and you've gotten yourself a really high damage combo. And like I said, it is safe on block. I'm going to assume, because we're talking about Claudio, that you're at, oh, of course, -9. Everything is -9. Everything is safe and -9. So like a great option. Use it. You can use it as a panic move if you need to. You can use it as a whiff punisher. You can try and interrupt your opponent with it. It's really good. I mean, I can just show you if you do the move when you don't have Starburst, he'll just do the first part, and the launching part won't come out. So never do Starburst moves when you don't have Starburst. Like same thing goes for the down 2-2. You see the second part doesn't come out, and this move same thing. So that's my main recommendation for the Starburst. I'm going to show you the combo a little bit later, but for 1+2, 1+2 is absolutely busted and probably the best option you have in terms of spending your Starburst. Now, a slightly more cancerous option that a lot of people use a lot of the time is the down 2-2. The down 2-2 is a low, very fast launcher, and this is obviously, you know, if there's a little bit of lag and stuff, this is much more likely to hit than just point blank mid, meaning that this move is seen slightly more often online. But if you are playing in any kind of like really competitive sort of high level environment, I recommend the forward 1+2 so many times more, because this is more dangerous, whereas this is completely safe. But the down 2-2 is still a great move. It comes out at 20 frames, which means that it is barely seeable. I would personally call it unseeable. But you need to be aware that these two hits are actually not a natural combo. If your opponent is super sharp, it is rare to see, but if they are super sharp, they can react to the first hit and block the second hit. This entire launcher is only guaranteed as a natural combo on counter hit, so that's important to note. But again, I mean, if you should get it blocked, Claudio is only at -12, which is not that bad at all. It's actually very safe and nice for a move that will, I mean, not safe obviously, but it's much safer than you know, a low unseeable launcher should be, perhaps. I mean, just fantastic. You got two so good launchers off of your Starburst, and so those will be your two main options, and they kind of, when you have Starburst, make up their own little kind of mix-up. And so, like I told you at in the intro, a lot of the time what will happen with Claudio is you will like launch your opponent with your hopkick because it's insane. You will spin your opponent, you'll get a running 2. Now you have Starburst, and then you're going to use the Starburst either on this move or the down 2 to launch your opponent for a second time, and that's going to usually allow you to take the round. So that's usually how, when a round goes very smooth with Claudio, how it tends to flow. Now, a final option, and a very good option that I want to talk about. I guess I should mention this as well. This is new for FR. Let's see if I can get it to come out. Oh, it's down back. Yeah, sorry. So in FR, Claudio got this. This is down back 1+2. It is like a kind of fast-ish, weird, unblockable move. And if you're playing against somebody who's really turtling hard on you, and you have Starburst, use this as an option to break them up. But I don't recommend it. I think you have better options. And so the final option I want to talk about is you can obviously create combos or like create launches with your Starburst, like I've showed you. But another thing that you can do with Starburst is that you can use it to empower your combos and make a combo stronger. And that's really cool. It's a really, really cool option. So, I mean, we're going to talk about combos in a little bit, but I think the normal standard combo that everybody uses off of a hopkick with Claudio looks something like, let's see so I don't mess it up. I think it's... Oh, come on. Alright, there it is. So that gives you 58 damage and half decent wall carry, I guess. But if you should have Starburst before you launch, you can actually do something along the lines of... let's see, what was it? One more time. So that's significantly more damage. It's something like 10 points more damage because you have this move from Starburst, which is down 1-2, which is a very unique and cool spin move that has this crazy hitbox. It will basically pick up opponents that are more or less completely on the ground, and then Claudio will move forward and he will spin opponents that are basically half across the stage. It has extreme range, and it can be used to create these crazy long combos with Claudio. If you look at some high level like combo compilation footage on YouTube of him. But it's a very good move that you can use, like I said, to enhance combos when you have Starburst. So say for example that you already have your Starburst, and you're suddenly in a position to use your hopkick to punish your opponent. Whiff punish, block punish, whatever it may be. In that situation, you can use your Starburst, like I showed you before, like this. And then you finish with a running 2, and you just get the Starburst back. So you haven't really spent it, you've just used it to really empower your combo by almost 10 points of damage, which is very significant. And then you're back where you started with a completely new Starburst. So very, very good option. It's really cool. Claudio has kind of standard super easy combos that he uses off of most of his launchers, but he can do a lot of like improvisation, and he can do a lot of conversions and stuff. So if you're getting into Claudio, it can be really fun to look at what some high level people are using in terms of their combos and try and apply some of them for yourself. So I think that's the last thing I want to mention. Okay, there's one more thing before we go into combos, and it's I think this thing, yeah. So I've talked about in many videos up until this point about how it's important to know your main 1+2 break command throw, because generic throws in Tekken 7 are broken with one punch button, 1 or 2, meaning that if I just do my normal 1 throw like that, or my normal 2 throw like this, my opponent, if they just happen to be pressing one of their punch buttons, they're going to break my throw. And that's why it's important to have a throw that is broken not with 1 or 2. And so for Claudio, it's a little bit unique. He has forward 3+4, which is this throw. It crosses your opponent up, like switches the positioning, gives you a very bog standard 40 damage, but it's a very solid option. It has good range, and yeah, it comes highly recommended. So now we're just quickly going to talk about some combos and wall games, and then I'm going to try and wrap this up. So off of the hopkick, that like I showed you before, this is the main combo. So what this is you launch, you spin immediately with forward 3, which is this amazing move. After the forward 3, you're going to do the forward 4 to close the distance, refloat with a back 3, which is his main mid that I talked about earlier. Then you need to refloat a second time with forward 2, which is this move, which is one of the few moves that actually gives Claudio like some, it moves him forward a little bit, gives him some range. And then after that, the combo ender is going to be back forward 2. Which is a great combo ender that has long range, is very reliable, but more importantly, actually gives you Starburst. And whenever you're in a position where you can get Starburst at the end of your combo, you should try and get it because it's so useful. So one more time, let's see if we can show it one more time. Okay, that's your standard combo. And when you already have Starburst, I showed you a little bit earlier, you can do, this is the option I use. There might be better options, but I think this one is really cool and comfortable, so I use this. And that's hopkick, back 2, refloat with a back 3, spin with down 1, 2, and then just a running 2 for the finish. And again, that gives you Starburst. Off of your counter hit 4-3, you have the exact same combo. It's not huge damage, but it looks like this. So that's what you do off of that. It's just like your normal combo, but you cut out everything before the forward 3 essentially. Gives you 54 points of damage and instant Starburst. Okay, let's talk about a great Claudio launcher, the While Standing 2. This is a 15 frame While Standing Punisher, has above average range, above average damage. It's really, really good. But one of the things that's super interesting about it is that this is a launcher that, as you can see, actually gives you Starburst. Meaning that when you launch with this move, you can always do a Starburst combo, like one of those enhanced high-powered Starburst combos that I showed you. And then you can end your combo in Starburst. So you gain Starburst from doing this, and you can use it in the combo. Like, you don't have to have it beforehand. So when you learn your While Standing 2 combo, just learn a Starburst combo because you're always going to have it. And so the one I use, it's a little bit finicky to learn at first, but I found it's a really great option, one of the highest damage options that you have. And let's see if I can get it even, but it looks like this. Let's see if I can remember, what was it? Okay. It's... Okay, so that whiffed one more time. Alright, so like you saw right there, 72 damage off of a While Standing 15 frame launcher is super good, and that's thanks to the Starburst down 1-2. So the combo I did was I launched with a While Standing 2, get the Starburst, I do a back 3 into a single jab to get some height on my opponent. I then jump in with a 4-4-4, I then refloat again with a back 3, spin with Starburst down 1-2, and then a running 2 for the finish. So let's see if we can get it one more time. Oh, come on. Let's try a little bit closer then. Finally. I should have just pretended that I get this every time and not even done it twice. There we go. Alright, sorry about the little interlude where I was messing up, but that's a very reliable and good combo. But it seems that something we learned right there is that it will whiff if you are launching your opponent from max range. And I think one way you can remedy that is probably just to do the 4-4-4 a little bit deeper, because it's a 4-4-2 input, you can delay it and he will jump deeper, and that'll probably fix your combo no problem. So that's that. The next launcher we should go into is, of course, the down back 3 that you need to know about. So off of down back 3, I use While Standing 1, back 3, forward 2, spin with forward 3, I think. Let's see if that works. Yeah, and then the running 2 for the finish, 65 damage plus Starburst. Very, very good. So one more time, the down back 3, While Standing 1, back 3, forward 2, spin with forward 3, run up, and do the running 2 for the finish. And that's going to be it for his standard combos. And now let's show you the Starburst combos. So First of all, the forward 1+2, 1+2. It's just that. It's the same combo that you would do off of your normal hop kick. It's just the launcher is so much more powerful. And mind you that this is not a built-in built-in spin kind of move. Your opponent, when Yoshi is spinning like in a weird corkscrew thing there, he's not spun yet. Like, I haven't done the spin part of the combo, which means that I can just spin him again by running up and doing the forward 3. That's the spin. So you can see, but just at the spin I already have 50 damage. This combo is crazy powerful. So what I do is forward 1+2, 1+2 to launch, dash once, do forward 3 for the spin, and then just do the normal 4 forward 4, back 3, 4 2, back 4 2. Let's see if we can get it one more time. Alright, and the wall's in the way right there, but that combo will work perfectly fine out in the open. And then finally, let's give you the Starburst down to 2. Starburst down to 2 is another combo where the while standing 1 will be a standard option for a lot of people, but that's actually inconsistent, and I found an option that I like to do better, so I'll show you that instead. $65 damage, very, very solid. I mean, more than solid. It's quite far above average, actually. So what it does or what I do is I do the down 2-2, and then from full crouch I do an up forward 3+4, which is this double knee move, which is a wall carry move for Claudio. And I then do a normal 1-2, spin with forward 3, and then the running 2 for the finish. So let's see if we can get it one more time. It's so easy. I mean, it's so good and so easy. Wow. Yeah, this character's great, actually. Okay, so I guess that's everything in terms of like normal combos without the wall. And then if you want to modify for wall carry, my main tip is going to be, I showed you this up forward 3+4 right now. What you can do in almost any combo is you see that wall carry is great for like a high wall splat. So in any combo, after you've spun your opponent, you can just run up and do your up forward 3+4, and that's going to create your wall carry conversion. So that works like, it doesn't really matter how many hits you have. For example, if I do this and then let's see if yeah, as you can see, it doesn't matter. Like, I can do it later in the combo. This is always going to hit at like any point during any combo for great wall carry. So that's great stuff. And then obviously we need to show you what happens when you actually do get your wall splat as well. I mean, I showed you how many great tools Claudio has for creating the wall splat. The back one, and the forward 3, the 4-3. I mean, just fantastic, fantastic moves. Does he get it off of the... he doesn't get it off of the 4-2-2, but he doesn't need to. And another one that a lot of people use a lot is down forward 3-1. This is not really a super useful string or anything, but it's used a lot by Claudio players to create wall splats. So that's another wall splat option that he has. And then what you do once you get the wall with Claudio, he basically has one main option here that most people use, is you do a down forward 3-2, which is, this is the down forward 3-1 that I showed you, that's the wall splat move, but he has down forward 3-2 as well, which is this thing. You do that into a down 1+2, which is Claudio's input for his shoulder. He has a good little shoulder, which is a good block punisher, and it's a good tool for a lot of reasons, but it's very, very good at the wall, as shoulders usually are, and so the wall combo ends up looking like this. Okay. 57 damage off of the forward 3, and the forward 3, I mean, it's going to hit so often, especially since it's a homing move, because people, you know, they like to sidewalk and sidestep when they're at the wall, because they want to escape the wall. And then you do this, you get all that damage. I mean, you're sidestepping and doing these fours here at the wall as well. You can wall spot with so many good options. So yeah, Claudio at the wall is terrifying. Claudio when spaced out is terrifying. He has great range, great homing tools, above average mids. He is insanely safe for a lot of the moves he has. He usually ends up somewhere at -9. He can collect the Starburst off of his running 2 and a lot of other options, and when he has it, he gets a couple of extremely powerful launching options. So that's essentially Claudio in a nutshell. I hope this tutorial was useful, and I know I didn't cover absolutely everything, but I'm trying to do my best to make these videos a little bit shorter than what they have. I don't know how long I've gone now, by the way. This might already be an hour. Who knows? But if there's anything you want to add, anything you want to ask, or anything you want to teach your fellow Tekken players about this great character, please use the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what character you want me to do next. I have a couple of suggestions right now, so I'm going to go with one of them if I don't hear anything else from you guys. But thank you very much for watching, and bye bye for now.